So I know a lot of you guys always asking, what's the difference between this and Guild Wars 2? What's better, ESO or Guild Wars 2? Because they're the only two MMOs that have this mode in terms of a large, epic scale battle system. World of Warcraft has battlegrounds, but it's not really on the scale of this. So obviously, like Guild Wars 2, ESO's Cyrodiil is a persistent battle. It never stops. It just keeps on going. And I'll tell you what I love about ESO's Cyrodiil when compared to Guild Wars 2. First and foremost, I will answer the question that yes, in my opinion, Elder Scrolls Online's Cyrodiil system is better than the current iteration of Guild Wars 2's World versus World. The reason why it's better is merely a matter of opinion. However, as a large-scale PvP enthusiast, I appreciate Cyrodiil's more grander scale of things and more need of strategy and tactics. Now, it's not without its downfalls, specifically the lag, which can be sometimes unbearable, and they really need to fix that. So let's break down ESO's Cyrodiil for you. So as you can see, the map is just littered with a bunch of shit. And you're probably sitting here like, holy hell, what are we supposed to do here? Well, I'll break it down really quickly for you. Like Guild Wars 2, ESO has objectives. There are towers and there are outposts. Those are your two main objectives, okay? Now, every faction calls their towers something different. So, for example, Blue, which is Daggerfall Covenant, they call their towers forts. Red, which is Ebonheart Pact, calls their towers keeps. Yellow, which is Aldmeri Dominion, calls their towers castles. So if you ever get confused and you ever want to know who is the rightful owner of an objective, you can hover over it and you know that if it says, so for example, if I know that DC, which is blue, the name of our shit are forts, then I know that we should have Fort Ash. That's rightfully our objective. But right now, yellow has it, which is Aldmeri Dominion. So there's that right there. Now, around each tower, you have a mine, a lumber mill, and a farm, okay? So before taking a tower, you can choose to take one or all of these objectives, which actually help you on the offensive because each of these little mini objectives weakens the tower in some way, shape, or form. Or you can just go for the tower outright and test your luck. So you've got the towers, you've got the outposts, which you can teleport to, but you cannot teleport from, if I'm not mistaken. Is that how that works? I'm almost positive that's how that works. But anyway, the thing I love about ESO Cyrodiil is it is huge. It is big. There are multiple Zergs running around. There are multiple groups of people running around. To me, there's a layer of depth and strategy to ESO Cyrodiil that you don't find in Guild Wars 2's World versus World. Guild Wars 2 is really all about, where the Zerg is versus where it isn't, and who's got the biggest Zerg online at that moment. I hate to say that. I love Guild Wars 2. I love ArenaNet, but World versus World is just lacking that depth and lacking that strategy. Not only is Cyrodiil big, but let me break down the different things there are to do here. In addition to running around and causing havoc one-on-one, small scale, because of the real stealth mechanic, you can capture the towers, you can capture the sub-objectives, you can make scroll runs, you can definitely go and grab the scrolls. Now, I'm not intimately familiar with how the scrolls work. I believe they give your faction a bonus for having them. So, for example, right now, we've got 2 scrolls, as you can see here. EP has 2 scrolls, and AD has, I see 1. Wait a minute, there's a scroll missing. Where is it? Hello? Where's the others? Oh, we have 3 scrolls. We have 3 scrolls. So we have an Aldmeri Dominion scroll, and we have our 2 original scrolls, as you can see. So AD is missing a scroll. So you can go and make a run for the scrolls. You can go and make a run for Emperor. That's right. If your faction owns all of the center keeps or towers, the highest point person becomes emperor with their own separate skill line. So there's a strategy involved in that. So right now, if I had a group of like 10 or 15, I would probably be keeping my eye on AD because it looks like they're going for emperor, right? Because all they need is Chalman Keep and Fort Ayleswell in order to get Emperor. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the basics of how that works. So it looks like they're making a run for Emperor right now. So I would probably focus on making sure we don't lose Fort Ayleswell, because we don't want to give them that upper hand. Now, this whole thing also encourages the 2-faction versus 1 team up. There's a literal in-game mechanic that makes the factions think about who they want to go for. And that's another layer of depth for Cyrodiil, which I'm a big fan of. Now, in addition to the scrolls, in addition to the Emperor system, in addition to going out and capturing keeps, in addition to the raw PvP, you've also now got Imperial City. The Imperial City is literally a city in the middle of Cyrodiil that allows the controlling faction to enjoy some PvE content. Now, I don't know all there is to know about the Imperial City, but again, it's another layer, it's another added layer of depth and strategy to the game. I know there's a thing you can go and get called Tar something stones, Tarfell stones. You can get those and turn those in for some stuff, but if you're killed, you can lose your stones. So very interesting mechanic within there. Now, on the PTR right now, there is a mechanic where you can capture towns within Cyrodiil. So now, in addition to the scrolls, in addition to the towers and the keeps, in addition to Imperial City, in addition to the Emperor system, now you can go into Cyrodiil and your faction can capture little towns that basically give you a spawn point. So what they're doing here is so right. It is so right what they're doing here, in my opinion. There's also plenty of sky shards that you can come out and get. As you can see here, there's a whole bunch of sky shards that you can get. PTS, PTR, same shit. So there's also sky shards that you can come out and collect. I believe there's little dungeons and shit that are out here. So there's a lot of depth to the situation, and I really like that about Cyrodiil. Yeah, that was a dick move, Phonetic, just keeping it real, but that's all right, man. But anyway, so that is Cyrodiil in a nutshell. That's Cyrodiil, and that, in my opinion, is why it's, you know, it's better, you know, and I like it. I like it. So,